Jesus went up to a hill, and he had been healing people, and he had been telling great truths. He'd been saying things that the people had not heard anywhere else, ever. He developed a following, and his followers came after him. And they sat down under him, and he opened his mouth. And he said something pretty spectacular, really, when you think about it. He spoke something that wasn't yet true. It was resident, but it was dormant. It hadn't blossomed yet. And he looked at these people, and he said something that was very strong. And I'm sure it probably got some heads turning when he said, "You are the light of the world." I can imagine that there were probably some that were there that wondered what he meant by that. There would be a time, and it wouldn't be that long from there, that he would leave this earth in his physical incarnate form. He would go back to be with his Father in heaven, but he wouldn't leave us without comfort. He would bring somebody who would walk alongside of us, even the Holy Spirit. And through the power of that Holy Spirit, he gave us what was required to be the light of the world. To those who believe, to those who follow him, to those who obey his commandments, to those who understand what it was that he was doing in this world even to begin with, who saw beyond the healings and beyond the miracles to the purpose. And the purpose was very simple. It was to save mankind because of their sin. And as he looked across that sea of people, I'm sure he saw, like I'm seeing right now, some awesome people and some great characters. He looked at Peter. He looked at John and countless others. And yet he knew that just the slightest bit of sin in their life was enough to separate them from God the Father. And he knew also that there was absolutely nothing that they could do about it because they were incapable of keeping the law. They couldn't do it. They tried for thousands of years and couldn't do it. And so even as he looked at them and even as he spoke those telling words that you are the light of the world, he understood that their sin would cause his death. I want you to think about the people that cause pain in your life and how you see them. And then I want you to transpose that, if you can, to how Jesus saw and still sees people today. The ones who have caused him pain, the one who caused him pain, even all of us who cause him pain. He loves us anyway. And he's ready to forgive us. But he doesn't take that precious blood and just broadcast it universally over the entire world. He makes it available, but only to those who believe, who are willing to follow him, who are willing to obey his way. Are you the light of the world? Are you making a difference? Can you make a difference in this world? I am almost certain that that's probably what some people were thinking when he said that for the very first time. I am sure that there were some people who were sitting there listening to him speak those words of prophecy, really is what it was. And he was listening, they were listening to him speak, and I am sure they were thinking to themselves, me? Am I the light of the world? Can I in any way help with the darkness of this age? Is there anything that I can do? Am I making a difference at all? Now, if you are the recipient of that thought process and you are coming up with the answer of, oh, no, that's a good starting place. But also understand that those people had to themselves admit, no, I'm not the light of the world. I'm not doing what I think I hear you saying that I am doing or should do or even could do. But remember, what he was speaking was a preferred future for them. For he saw something in them that wasn't really there yet, except inside. So I say to you, you are the light of the world. And if you don't think that you can make a difference as your pastor and as your friend, yes, you can. You can make a difference in this world. You can cast your light, the light of Christ, into a dark area of this world that I believe is set aside for you. To some, it might be the Czech Republic. To some, it might be Central Asia. To some, it might be going distances. And to some, it might be right here, close by. But each and every one of us, and it's at different stages and parts of our life, today you are the light of the world. Today. Can you make a difference? I believe that you can. I want to read to you a small letter that I got from a high school in the area, West Johnson. West Johnson, the principal actually wrote this letter, wrote it herself, and she sent it to me to share with the church. West Johnson High School has about 2,600 students or so, and the principal, Brookie Honeycutt, shares with you these words. Thank you for your hard work, support, and prayer for the students of West Johnson High School, and especially for your efforts in sponsoring the first ever Rock Rally, which is reaching our campus for the King. And we had people there. It was evident that much prayer time and consideration went into the planning and organization of this event. It is also evident that our faith community is committed to the moral and spiritual development of our students as well as their academic success. Our students continue to need guidance and direction in their young lives. This is the principle of the school. The issues of today's world present many obstacles for them. I seek your continued prayers for them, our teachers, and our school. I appreciate your work and your leadership in our community. On behalf of our football team and the Wildcat Athletics, I want to express our gratitude for your delicious meal that you served to our players prior to the varsity football game. These young men saw evidence of God's love in action, light, and it meant more than you know. They will look back on this time and see your example as an example that they must live up to as responsible and caring citizens of their community. Thank you for what you've done for our students. Let's go to Acts chapter 5, verse 42. One verse. Then we're going to go back to 1 John again where we'll pick up from prayer time. Acts chapter 5, verse 42. The apostles in and out of prison, thrown in jail for their beliefs, persecuted for what they're teaching. Verse 42 says, look at this, when they're out of jail, out of prison, and every day in the temple complex, which is where they normally get arrested, they go right back to it. You prayed for Glenn. You prayed for him because he had dengue fever, still has it, because he was going out into the villages. I talked with Rhonda this week, and she says, well, he's feeling some better. As a matter of fact, today, and that was a couple of days ago, he's out sharing the Jesus film. Tomorrow he will share it again, and then he's driving all the way to Udaipur, which is where hundreds and hundreds of people accepted Christ when he led the last pastor's conference out there, and the witness that was done that following month. There are people that understand that they are the light. There are people that understand their responsibility as light to go out. To go out when they're sick. To go out when it hurts. To go out when they're persecuted. Every day in the temple complex, they went back. They went back into the face of the roar of the mighty lion. And in various homes, and they continued teaching and proclaiming the good news that the Messiah is indeed Jesus. This would cost them all. Let's go to 1 John. What we have in 1 John is a letter. And it's a letter much like this letter. This is a letter of encouragement for work that was done in the name of Christ. This is a letter of encouragement to a group of people that is the church, the local church in that area. But because the Lord has seen to make it part of His Bible, it's been for the churches of the ages. And he says here a testimony. If you read the very first paragraph, you see what was from the beginning and what we have heard and what we have seen with our eyes and what we have observed and we have touched with our hands concerning the word of life. What John is doing here is putting out there very emphatically the light. He is sharing what he has seen, he is sharing what he has heard, and he is sharing what he has touched and what has touched him as well. This is what he is doing because the people need to hear it. So he puts it out there and he shares it with them. And we get down to verse 5 and it says, "Now this is the message we have heard from him and declare to you, that this is true. God is light, and there is absolutely no darkness in him. If we say we have fellowship with him and we walk in darkness, then we're lying and we're not practicing the truth." What John wanted to do as an apostle, but also I believe as a pastor, is he wanted to make people and help people to understand that it takes more than speaking something with your mouth. It takes more than believing something in your heart, because what you believe in your heart is what you follow with your feet. So he takes from the profession with the mouth, the believing in the heart, to the walking with the feet. And he says, guys, it's all important. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast today. You have been listening to the preaching ministry of Reverend David Michael Elsey. Please go to part 2 for the rest of the message.